Yesterday, the entire nation heaved a sigh of relief as 41 Karamveers were pulled out of the Uttarkashi tunnel. We all cheered and rejoiced to see that each one of them was safe and sound. India had finally won the race against time. 12 hours after their rescue, the labourers got a surprise video call from Prime Minister Narendra Modi himself while he hailed their courage under fire. They thanked him for all the encouragement and provisions made for their safety. But little did they know that after being rescued out from the dark tunnel, they will be shoved into the murky waters of politics. That is just so much part of the DNA of Indian politics. The opposition waded in, using them as an excuse to taunt and mock the Prime Minister. From calling Prime Minister Modi a photo-jeevi, a camera-jeevi, to taunting him with panauti jibes, the Vipaksh is leaving no stone unturned ahead of the 2024 polls. Congress went to the extent of claiming really that the Prime Minister didn't go for the rescue operations, fearing the prakop of panauti. Supriya Srinath also claimed that he skipped last day of campaigning in Telangana so that he doesn't jinx it all. All of this, of course, while Rahul Gandhi was facing an EC notice for calling the Prime Minister a panauti. But the BJP was quick to lash out at the pessimists. Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma reminded that during the rescue operations, the Prime Minister himself was anxious and worried over the rescue and was coordinating and speaking to them every few hours. However, the Gandhis were dancing at a Telangana roadshow. He called this insensitive leadership. But first, let's listen in to the targeted strikes on the Prime Minister by the Congress and allies.
प्रधानमंत्री जी की तो आदत है, अभी तक चुनाव प्रचार में व्यस्त है। अब सक्सल निकल आए, वो वार्ता भी की, बात भी की। अच्छा, वो पहले नहीं बात की।
हमने 15 मिनट का वीडियो रिलीज किया है। ये वीडियो रिलीज करके वो बात कर रहे हैं।
अभी वीडियो आ जाएगा ना सर, वो फोन पर भी हाथ करेंगे ना।
मोदी जी को सब जगह क्यों ला रहे? मोदी जी प्रधानमंत्री है भाई, जो भी होता है देश में अच्छा बुरा उसके लिए वही जिम्मेदार है।
तो भाजपा के नेताओं को रोकना चाहिए प्रधानमंत्री जी को कि कोई देश में अगर शुभ काम होने वाला है उसमें प्रधानमंत्री न दिखे तो ज्यादा बेहतर है।
While the opposition played politics over rescue operations, the rescued Shramiks themselves thanked the Prime Minister for being their savior. Listen in.
सर, ये सब आप लोगों का आशीर्वाद था सर। आप लोगों ने हमारा हौसला बढ़ाया सर। हमारे माननीय मुख्यमंत्री पुष्कर सिंह धामी साहब हमसे बात करते थे सर। वो हमसे हमारे कॉन्टेक्ट में बराबर बने रहते थे सर। आप जैसे हमारे देश के प्रधानमंत्री है सर। आप जो है जब बाहर से हमारे देश के अदर कंट्री से आप लोग खींच के इंसान को बचा के ला सकते सर, तो हम तो सर अपने घर में थे, इसलिए हमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं सर।
और मुख्यमंत्री हमारा उत्तराखंड का जो है वो हमारे प्रयास में लगे रहे हम लोग को निकालने के लिए, और हमारे झारखंड के भी चीफ मिनिस्टर भी आए और इधर प्रधानमंत्री सब हर व्यवस्था की।
बिल्कुल सही हूँ, आप लोग से दुआ है, आपकी मेहनत है सर, केंद्र सरकार राज्य सरकार की, जिससे मैं निकल पाया आज आप लोग के सामने हूँ।
Meanwhile, the BJP has not just lashed out at the Gandhis but outlined how the Prime Minister was emotionally invested in the rescue operations. Listen in.
कल मेरा भी तेलंगाना में प्रोग्राम था, मैं भी कल नहीं गया, इसलिए एक एंजाइटी होते थे, क्या होगा क्या नहीं होगा, आएगा नहीं आएगा, क्या होगा। कल बहुत ही एंजाइटी में हम लोग घंटा पार किया, दिन पार किया। लेकिन राहुल जी, प्रियंका जी सबने डांस कर रहा था तेलंगाना में, तो इतना इनसेंसिटिव लीडरशिप देश को कभी नहीं देखा।
हमें प्रधानमंत्री जी का मार्गदर्शन मिलता रहा। प्रधानमंत्री जी बकायदा सुबह शाम मॉनिटरिंग करते थे, उनकी एक टीम वहाँ पर मौजूद थी। कोई हमको दिक्कत हो तो हम उनके साथ बैठकर उसका हल निकालते थे।
देखिए, कुछ लोगों का काम केवल राजनीति करना और नकारात्मकता नेगेटिविटी फैलाना है, उनको वो करने दीजिए। हम देश को आगे बढ़ा रहे हैं। ये लड़खड़ाती चरमराती अर्थव्यवस्था देकर गए थे, ये घोटाले देकर गए थे। हमने कांग्रेस के घोटालों से भी मुक्ति दिलाई, लड़खड़ाती चरमराती अर्थव्यवस्था को दुनिया की 5वीं सबसे बड़ी अर्थव्यवस्था बनाया है।
It's not just this rescue operation the opposition has politicized. Here's a Newshour fact check. In 2022 Operation Ganga, when Indian students were brought back from Ukraine, CPIM's Sitaram Yechuri said focus is on propaganda, spin and photo ops. When India evacuated over 3,000 Indians from Sudan, Congress's Sanket Yanagi said mission named Kaveri due to upcoming elections. During the Gaza rescue operation, KC Venugopal said the NDA government is heartless and fascist regime. Even when India evacuated 800 people from Afghanistan, Randeep Surjewala said that there is gross abdication of duty. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the shape, and that is really the color of politics in India. So the legitimate question we are asking on the Newshour tonight is rescuing Shramiks and our Shramveers a political stunt? That's the question, and that's the debate on the other side.
You're watching the Newshour first. Debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
Joining the debate tonight, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi, Member of Parliament and National Spokesperson of the BJP, Dr. Anand Ranganathan, author, Mohammad Tariq Khan, spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party. Also joining us this evening is Tausif Ahmed, lawyer and political analyst, Joseph Hoover, a senior journalist. But my first question goes to Dr. Sanjay Jha. And Dr. Sanjay Jha, simple question coming out here. Time, place, nothing matters as far as politics is concerned. It's always about taking pot shots. So what if 41 lives were on the line? Always. And without fail, without any lapse, Congress party right in the forefront, calling the Prime Minister panauti, calling him photo-jeevi. It really wasn't about the 41 workers. It has always been about how to find a new opportunity to target Prime Minister Modi. Yesterday, when they put out, a meme saying, put out more cameras and then Sahib will come, to today, Shrupriya Srineth's tweet just a short while ago, it's all been about targeting the Prime Minister. Is that really the quality of opposition that we are going to see? And is this the Mohabbat ki dukaan that Mr. Gandhi has been talking about?
Navika, I think this is a very serious subject because I think it reflects on the quality and the ethics of political leadership in this country, cutting across party lines. And I have certain views on the subject, and I would like to articulate them without wasting any time. Number one, I do believe that there was collective relief all over the country. And I think the 1,000 people that I've read in the reports from various departments of the center, of the states, and the other people from various other, disaster management forces coming together to rescue 41 human lives, brave human lives, migrant workers who were trapped for 400 hours is an extraordinary achievement. And the real heroes are those 1,000 people and those 14, what they call as the rat hole miners. I believe that term appears a little bit of a pejorative, and hopefully it'll get a new title. There is a serious issue, though, in your question. The Prime Minister of the country has every right and should, give his shoulder for the others to cry on or to lean on. But TV cameras? Narendra Modi has to be seen on TV cameras all the time. I mean, you are at, having an exchange of dialogue with these people who have survived, these brave people who have survived. And you need to show it to the world that, you are giving them words of sympathy. I mean, this is absolutely unparalleled and unprecedented. I'll give you an example. And I would like my friend Sudhanshu ji later on to talk about it because I can see him on my screen. Mizoram, 175 people are dead as of September 15th from what I saw on government data. 175 people are dead. Narendra Modi hasn't had the time to visit Manipur even once. And 175 people are dead in the Manipur violence. It's 7 months gone. I want to know, where is my Prime Minister? Number two, you remember when on the day when Chandrayaan mission successfully landed on the moon, at Aizawl in Mizoram, 24 people died. 24 people died, ordinary workers, when a railway bridge collapsed. I never found Narendra Modi on a camera televised, show, letting out his tears of sympathy. He was nowhere to be seen. Another one, Morbi tragedy, 141 dead in Gujarat before the elections. Narendra Modi is conspicuous by his disappearance. COVID second wave, Narendra Modi is nowhere to be seen. It's remarkable. It's remarkable that to protect your macho muscular image, you must always come when there's been a Herculean effort done by selfless individuals to save the others. These are the unsung heroes of India. Mr. Modi must come in to make his own, what I call is the photo op moment. I mean, cricketers, they are grieving after a terrible loss. I can understand how they feel. A loss feels like a grief moment. Mr. Modi lands up in the dressing room, an audio clip here, a rehearsed dialogue. None of the players are keen to engage in any conversation with him. But you know what? He has to create this big photo op hype. I mean, it's about time we called this out. I have no problem, Mr. Modi is popular, he's the Prime Minister. But for God's sake, stop insulting the collective intelligence.
All right.
And what I also call is the national conscience.
All right, but somewhere, I think, Dr. Sanjay Jha, you're contradicting yourself. If the Prime Minister, shouldn't have been seen talking to these Karamveers, why should he have been seen during the second wave of, the COVID? Was he going to inject people? Was he going to bring cans of oxygen, stuff like that? So you're contradicting yourself.
No, Navika,
he should have been seen there but not seen here, number
Navika,
one.
this is
Number
Navika,
two, if the conversation was not put out, Sudhanshu Trivedi, wouldn't they have turned around and said, दिखाया नहीं ना, गाली दे रहे होंगे सब वर्कर, सब बहुत कह रहे होंगे कि ये काम 2-3 दिन में हो जाना चाहिए था, 17 दिन में क्यों हुआ? Wouldn't the opposition have begun that spin and that narrative if this was not a televised conversation? Sudhanshu ji?
I would like to remind our learned friend Mr. Sanjay Jha that the falsification which Congress tries to project, they should refrain from it. In case of Morbi, Prime Minister himself has went to district headquarters and he has taken meeting. It was the only instance in India's, I think, in India's history, in when Prime Minister has taken stock of the situation sitting at the district headquarters. So you said, where was the Prime Minister? On the issue of Manipur, I would like to say that they have brought even no confidence motion. No confidence motion against the central government, but they have not put even a single motion of no confidence against Manipur government. You are having so much of grudge, no demonstration, no movement against Manipur government. Why? Maybe because of you say that you take an alibi of the law and order. Then why you have not moved any no confidence motion against the Manipur government? And when you have moved the no confidence motion against the central government, the digital data can be verified. Hardly less than 5% time was devoted to discussing on Manipur. Most of the time was devoted in their getting their satisfaction of criticizing Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi ji. So, as far as who is doing sheer politics on the issue of disaster, it's quite clear. And coming on this issue, sir, I would like to say, जहां तक श्रमिकों की बात है, प्राइम मिनिस्टर जी की जो सिंपैथी है, इट्स नॉट जस्ट यू कैन से नोशनल ऑन काशी विश्वनाथ कॉरिडोर. Even in the when new building of parliament was inaugurated, Prime Minister sat down with the workers. Prime Minister poured the flowers on the workers. उनके पैर भी धोए. और इतना ही नहीं, पहली बार ऐसा हुआ कि संसद भवन की बिल्डिंग में उनको भी थैंक्स दिया गया ऑन द ऑफिशियल डॉक्यूमेंट. सो इट इज नॉट जस्ट द रीजन बीइंग फॉर प्राइम मिनिस्टर, पॉवर्टी एंड फाइटिंग ऑफ दिस टाइप ऑफ सिचुएशन इज नॉट ए मेंटल स्टेट. एज राहुल गांधी जी हैज सेड, पॉवर्टी इज अ मेंटल स्टेट. Prime Minister has lived up with this on the railway platform, and his mother जूठे बर्तन तक साफ किए हैं पड़ोस के घरों में जाकर, उन्होंने भावुक होकर यह बात बताई थी. तो हमारे प्राइम मिनिस्टर का जो भी स्टैंड है, दैट इज हैविंग अ इमोशनल कनेक्ट, पर्सनल कनेक्ट. एंड सेकेंड थिंग, if Prime Minister is speaking to the workers, they feel that the representative of the 140 crore is speaking to us. The entire country is with us because Prime Minister symbolizes the entire country. But photo op की बात है सर. Jairam Ramesh has said that Modi ji is a master of photo op. सर आपके यहां तो डिजास्टर ऑफ फोटो ऑप है। याद करिए वो राहुल गांधी जी ने वो फाड़ा था अध्यादेश, दैट वाज द डिजास्टर ऑफ फोटो ऑप। अनदर डिजास्टर ऑफ फोटो ऑप वाज इन पार्लियामेंट, ऑन द फ्लोर ऑफ द पार्लियामेंट, व्हेन राहुल गांधी जी जाके मोदी जी के गले लगे थे या गले पड़े थे, देन व्हाटएवर ही हैज डन कमिंग बैक ऑन हिज सीट बाय हिज आईज, दैट वाज द डिजास्टर ऑफ द फोटो ऑप। एंड मोर ओवर योर गवर्नमेंट हैज ट्राइड टू मेक योर प्राइम मिनिस्टर जस्ट एज अ फोटो ऑप। फोटो पे रखा था डॉक्टर मनमोहन सिंह जी को, to permanently just be there as a picture. The rest of the things will be done by others. So as far as ours are concerned, Prime Minister is always on the forefront and is having a very significant, peculiar, special, affectionate affection towards the workers, which has been evident from so many previous examples. And as far as you people are concerned, always find if anything positive happen. This is, I think, one of the most significant rescue operation. All 41 workers came out. I'm not saying that solely it's the credit of the government. Government has motivated, controls, the technical expertise team, the disaster relief team, all other, there was a teamwork. And the leadership should have the duty to perform and motivate the entire movement. And that has been done. But still, forget about a single point of phrase. अगर ये करते रहते हैं साहब, इसीलिए कहा जाता है कि मरीजे नफरते मोदी पर लानत खुदा की, मर्ज बढ़ता गया जो जो दवा की। आपने जितनी नफरत मोदी जी से की, जनता ने उतनी मोहब्बत दी।
संजय झा, काउंटर।
वेरी शॉर्ट काउंटर नाविका। आपको 3 दिसंबर को मालूम हो जाएगा सुधांशु जी, जनता है, जनता का आदर कीजिए, जनता जनार्दन का इज्जत कीजिए। ये जो आप लोगों में जो अहंकार और जो घमंड आ गया है ना, जो मगरूर है आप लोग को लगता है कि हम लोग जो करते हैं फोटो आप करते जाएं, लोगों को हम किसी न किसी तरीके से भटकाने की कोशिश है, वो चलती रहेगी। वो सच्चाई नहीं बदलता है। आपसे मैंने एक प्रश्न पूछा था सुधांशु जी, कोई ये नहीं कह रहा है कि प्रधानमंत्री सहानुभूति न दिखाएं, प्रेम न दिखाएं, सम्मान न करें, लोगों की बहादुरी के बारे में प्रशंसा न करें, लेकिन ये टीवी कैमरा के सामने हर चीज टीवी कैमरा। आप क्या समझते हैं कि भारत की जो जनता, जो आवाम ये प्रोग्राम देख रही है, वो नहीं जानती है कि भूतपूर्व कितने प्रधानमंत्री रहे हैं और बहुत प्रधानमंत्री आएंगे, और ऐसे हालात बहुत आते ही रहते हैं देश में। लेकिन हर प्रधानमंत्री कैमरा लेके नहीं जाता, हर प्रधानमंत्री हर मौके का कोई राजनीतिक लाभ नहीं उठाता। देखिए, सिद्धांत होती है, एक आदर्श और वसूल भी होता है हमारी जिंदगी में। आजकल जो हमारे राजनीतिक दल के जो राजनेता है ना, वो अभिनेता हो गए हैं। इसीलिए सिर्फ आप ही नहीं, जो लोग राजनीति में हैं, आप पूछ लीजिए आम आदमी को सड़क पर जाकर, उनको लगता है कि जो नेता लोग हैं सब चोर है, सब झूठ बोलता है, सब वैसे लोगों को बहकाने की कोशिश करता है। सबकी विश्वसनीयता पे प्रश्न आता है। और प्रधानमंत्री है भैया, आप तो देश के सीईओ हैं। आप एक नया
राहुल गांधी ट्रक में जाते हैं, मैकेनिक्स के साथ बैठे हैं, वो फोटोशॉप नहीं है, बिल्कुल नहीं है सुधांशु त्रिवेदी जी।
देखिए, इन्होंने कहा कि प्राइम मिनिस्टर ऐसा, यस ऑफ कोर्स, प्राइम मिनिस्टर इज द हेड ऑफ द स्टेट एंड ही शुड हैव प्रॉपर अपॉर्चुनिटी टू रिप्रेजेंट इन वॉट एवर वे ही वांट्स टू रिप्रेजेंट द विल ऑफ द पीपुल। पर आपके यहां दूसरी बात थी, द चेयरमैन ऑफ द जो काउंसिल बनी हुई थी, एडवाइजरी काउंसिल, नेशनल एडवाइजरी काउंसिल, फोटो वॉज बिगर देन द प्राइम मिनिस्टर। नेशनल एडवाइजरी काउंसिल चेयरमैन यूजेस टू इनॉग्रेट द थिंग्स। सर, इसलिए आपको उस माइंडसेट में लगता है क्योंकि आपने प्राइम मिनिस्टर को ये किया था। दैट वाज मोदी जी इज अ नेचुरल प्राइम मिनिस्टर एंड योर्स प्राइम मिनिस्टर वाज अ एक्सीडेंटल प्राइम मिनिस्टर। और दूसरी बात इनको याद दिला दूं, एक ही चीज मुझे याद आ गया नाविका जी, हम लोगों के बहुत बचपन की 80s की मूवी थी आंधी, जो इंदिरा जी के ऊपर बनी थी। उसमें तो कहा गया था ना कि वो एक इवेंट हो जाता है तो उसमें वो कह रही रुके रहिए जब तक प्रेस वाले ना आ जाएं, फोटो ना हो जाए। अब बाद में आपकी गवर्नमेंट ने बैन कर दिया था उसको, द सो कॉल्ड चैंपियंस ऑफ द फ्रीडम ऑफ द प्रेस। तो अगर ऐसी बातें हैं तो मैंने सिर्फ इसलिए सिर्फ वो याद दिलाया, फ्रीडम ऑफ द प्रेस और जर्नलिस्ट को आ जाने दो, टिल रिमेन द इंटायर पोजीशन ऑफ द इवेंट एज इट इज। सो दैट रिप्रेजेंट्स कि what you were having in the mind, but unfortunately when you made Dr. Manmohan Singh Prime Minister, you tried to keep him away as far as possible from the public appearance and the camera, and you tried to be focused on Sonia ji and subsequently Rahul ji, and ultimately it proved unproductive and disastrous for the Congress party.
Well, let me open up the debate and let me get in Mohammad Tariq Khan. Mohammad Tariq Khan, you know, there are some which are part of an ecosystem that exists, जो इस पूरे रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन में अब ये भी ले आए हैं कि वकील हसन और मुन्ना कुरैशी, बस इनके होने से एक डाइवर्सिटी, एक सबका साथ हुआ है और इनको श्रेय मिलना चाहिए। अता हसनैन, लेफ्टिनेंट जनरल अता हसनैन की सबसे बड़ी उपलब्धि क्या बताई गई है? क्योंकि आज उनको एक मजहब के तौर पर उनको उपाधि दी जा रही है। नॉट फॉर बीइंग इन द आर्मी, he must have been in the army for 40 years, served this country, protected this country, but today he's being recognized that he is the one who led this. Every single person of the rat hole miners troops, 17 of them, 700 of the rescue workers working round the clock, each one is our hero. Why are a few being singled out? Why are we bringing even into a rescue operation which has been as fantastic as this one, we're bringing out the religion card? Why, sir?
I don't think from my party anybody has said this. The whole team is a hero, and irrespective of their religion or anything of caste, they are hero of the nation. And what they have done, I don't have word to describe what they have done for the nation and for the people who is struck over there. One thing which I have derived what BJP spokesperson has said, that responsibility and accountability of the Prime Minister will be decided on the basis of no confidence. If this is the base of accountability and responsibility of the Prime Minister, the Prime Minister will wait and see that whether if there is a no confidence motion, then it's okay. Then he will come and respond. Until unless he will not respond. Is this the way India will go ahead or work? This is Amrita. I know very well. And I just want to give an example. मैं एक उदाहरण देना चाहता हूँ छोटा सा. आप कह रहे हैं आज कि there is a crisis, the whole country should come together and opposition should not ask any type of question. कोई सवाल नहीं पूछना चाहिए, ठीक है. 26/11 हुआ मैम, 26/11 हुआ. बिल्कुल वो देश के ऊपर एक आतंकवादी हमला था. तो क्या बीजेपी ने उस वक्त मैम सवाल नहीं पूछा? They came along with Congress. और मैं कहता हूं, I'll say that उस टाइम अगर बीजेपी ने कांग्रेस से सवाल पूछा था, he was exactly right. वो बिल्कुल सही थे. The fundamental responsibility of the opposition to ask question to the ruling party. आज एक नए भारत का निर्माण हो रहा. You asking us, they don't ask question. They stand with the ruling party. How could we means there is no way that we can do this.
Fair point.
The fundamental responsibility of any type of opposition to ask question. और जब 26/11 हुआ था, तो ये सवाल अभी 2 महीना पहले इन्होंने 26/11 पे सवाल पूछा कि क्या हुआ, कौन रिस्पॉन्सिबल थे, तब देश नहीं आया था मैम. तब सब लोग आ जाते सॉलिडारिटी में, कहते कांग्रेस पार्टी जिंदाबाद, वेल डन कांग्रेस, गो अहेड, वी आर अलोंग विद यू, हम आपके पीछे, बैकिंग यू. तो आप आज कह रहे हैं मैम, अगर अखिलेश जी पूछ रहे हैं कि एनवायरमेंटल कंडीशंस को ब्रीच किया गया, फॉलो नहीं किया गया, अगर हिमालयन रेंज में देयर हैज बीन फ्लड्स,
ओके, फेयर क्वेश्चन. सुधांशु त्रिवेदी जी इज रिस्पॉन्डिंग.
देखिए, मैं तारिक साहब को बताना चाहता हूं, शायद उन्हें याद नहीं है. When no confidence motion was brought and when Prime Minister started speaking, the opposition walked out. Despite the fact that opposition installed the entire proceeding of the parliament just because they want an answer from the Prime Minister. This shows the sheer politics. और सर 26/11 के सवाल पे आप भूल गए. मनमोहन सिंह गवर्नमेंट का ऑफिशियल स्टैंड था कि 26/11 हाफिज सईद ने कराया. सबसे वाहियात सवाल तो कांग्रेस पार्टी के अंदर से दिग्विजय सिंह जी ने उठाया. उन्होंने कहा 26/11 आरएसएस ने कराया. ना मजाक बना के रख दिया. हमने सवाल नहीं उठाया. सवाल दिग्विजय सिंह ने उठाया और बाकायदा एक बुक का इनॉग्रेशन किया. बुक कि 26/11 वाज एन आरएसएस कॉन्स्पिरेसी. साहब, ऐसा माखौल उठाने वाला सवाल उठाना. और दूसरा, आपने कहा बीजेपी शुड हैव सेड दैट दे हैव डन गुड. दूसरी किताब कोट कर देता हूं. बैरक ओबामा इन हिज बुक इन द बुक प्रॉमिस लैंड हैज सेड with reference to 2010 visit and referring Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi that after 26/11 the Indian army was ready to take a stern action, but then government has refrained from this because they thought that the atmosphere coming out of action against Pakistan may benefit BJP politically. Sir, सवाल उठा के किसने उस शहादत का माहौल उड़ाया? I have quoted just 2 books. One referred by a Congress leader, another by. तो जब आप ये बोले तो इस बातों का ध्यान रखा करें तो ज्यादा ठीक है. And as far as Akhilesh ji is concerned, in my opinion, Navika ji, you know what happens? Suddenly they become expert of everything. Actually, whosoever is competent only which has studied the strength of material and theory of structures. Anand Ranganathan is a scientist, he must be knowing about this. Since I have studied some engineering, so I know that those who have a soil strength capacity, those have the structured related courses, those have the strength of material courses, then they can have any comment on this. Suddenly they become expert of that. When it comes the COVID vaccine, they become the cellular microbiology expert. When it comes to Ram Mandir Muhurat, they become the Muhurt expert of the Jyotish. So they try to become expert of everything and making fool of themselves only.
Well, Anand Ranganathan, Dr. Sudhanshu Trivedi has a point. People become vaccine time. They said BJP vaccine mat lena. And they want, Sanjay Jha wants that the Prime Minister should have come out during the COVID wave when everybody was saying ye vaccine mat lena. And that's exactly what saved us. And today, the photo-jeevi, the camera-jeevi, and everybody only talking about photo ops. Do you think photo ops are only a hallmark of the Modi Sarkar, or were they always there?
Good evening, Navika. I have 3 points to make. Number one, first of all, I want to congratulate every person who was involved in the rescue operation. It is our great achievement. My congratulations to them, beginning with, of course, the General Hasnan, who was in charge on the ground. And his words are that the chain of command went right to the very top, and it was Narendra Modi and his team directly in control, on hand, giving instructions, enabling the rescue effort. So my congratulations also to Narendra Modi. Since this has been said not by you or me, I hope the other panelists would not call us as Sanghis and, BJP stooges. This has been called by and said so by authoritatively by General Hasnan, who was on the ground. So he is apolitical. Number two, you've rightly said it. Every prime minister or a leader of prominence belonging to every party has taken credit when others accuse the opposition parties at that point of time of stealing credit through cameras and everything. The problem is selectivity. The problem is you only quote one person taking credit while hide surreptitiously the other person who is your leader, who's hogging credit for God knows donkey's years. I distinctly remember during the tragedy that happened in Kedarnath and the floods that happened there, during the rescue operation, the trucks were all labeled with those banners of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. Jayalalitha was famous for this, the late Jayalalitha. So every leader has done this. It is excoriating and I think downright banal for people to only talk about Modi doing this. Every politician does it. Number two, and this is very important out here. And I want, today we should not be bickering because today is a great day of achievement, celebrating this achievement. But unfortunately, we do. That's our point. But, in the spirit of bonhomie, I want to ask my good friend, Tausif Bhai, who's very erudite, and Muhammad Tariq Khan as well. You see, the problem in our country, Navika, just 30 seconds, is that I think the ruling dispensation has stopped praising any good deed done by the opposition, and the opposition has stopped praising any good deed done by the BJP. Now, I want to tell Tausif Bhai and other people who are, maybe Congress supporters or opposition party leaders, that I will tell you 3 or 4 things on the top of my head that the Congress did, UPA did, that were fantastic, that TMC did fantastic. For example, the UPA, I credit it for nuclear deal. I credit it for Manrega scheme. I credit for universal immunization. I do it for Neem Urea also taking it forward. TMC, I credit for Kanya Shri program, spectacular program. Can Tausif Bhai tell me one achievement of Modi that he praised in the last 10 years? Just one, Tausif Bhai. Just one.
Over to you, Tausif.
This question is to me now.
Tausif.
Ranganathan has already mentioned Manrega. I would like to point this out that under that Manrega scheme only, a fund to Bengal government has not been issued, for which representatives from Bengal went to Delhi. They staged a protest there. Leaders went there. No, this is very crucial. You talked about one of the greatest things done by UPA, which BJP government is not implementing. So whatever good deed is done by the previous government, the current BJP regime is undoing it. This is the predicament that we are in. Did it?
Fair enough. But that's another matter. Can you please praise
of course,
one policy of Modi?
if he does something, I will praise. I will praise if he does something, like you yourself said. The General Hasnain praised Modi. General Hasnain praised Modi. Okay, I have understood. But we reached this predicament.
In the last 9.5 years, has Modi done anything that you would want to compliment? One thing, Dr. Ranganathan wants you to come back to the question he is asking.
I'm sure there must be something. It's not that the entire team that is assisting this Prime Minister
you can't remember it
at all. I'm
you
sure
can't
there
remember
are a number
it.
of things.
नहीं आपको याद नहीं आ रहा. Amnesia.
We are discussing. No. Right now we are discussing the Uttarakhand tunnel disaster. Why this project at all was executed? Who gave the approval for this project? That is the point. Right now, no. Please don't shift the focus. Today we are discussing this tragedy that we were put into, from which we have been rescued. We had almost lost this 41 people. On whose fault? Should the government have given a go ahead to this project? Is this project feasible? Is this acceptable that we must tinkle with the natural landscape? This we have seen Uttarakhand state alone has seen more than 1,000 landslides. So no, it is a very big environment. A government may have an ambitious project of building tunnels and roads and Char Dham project. They may have it. But you must do a proper research.
Okay. All right. You can't remember anything good done by Modi. Mohammad Tariq Khan, आपको कुछ याद आता है? Anything good done by Prime Minister?
Man, I praise BJP not 10 times, 100 times. Remind me a time when we have a government in Uttar Pradesh, BJP praised us. Remind me a time. I'll praise 100 times, not 1 time.
BJP की गलती है, मान लिया.
नहीं, आपने मान लिया तो मैं कहता हूँ कि आज जो काम हुआ बहुत अच्छा हुआ. आज जो काम हुआ, today what has been done to rescue those 41 people is a good deal. And Prime Minister had a tactic, that is a good deal.
अच्छा, today it was.
खान साहब, पिछले 9.5 साल में एक पॉलिसी बता दीजिए मोदी जी की जिसकी आपने प्रेज किया है. एक पॉलिसी 9.5 साल में.
मैं I am telling simply that provide me the time BJP has praised us when we have the government.
All right. You rest your case. Anand Ranganathan, I think viewers have made up their mind. Sudhanshu ji wants to come in. Sudhanshu ji.
Navika, even I want to come in.
अभी आनंद ने बहुत अच्छी बात पूछी कि कोई अच्छी बात बता दे, तो मैं पहले बताना चाहता हूं, मैं कांग्रेस के प्राइम मिनिस्टर्स की कुछ अच्छी बातें बताता हूं. लाल बहादुर शास्त्री जी का जय जवान जय किसान के अलावा ही स्टार्टेड द न्यूक्लियर प्रोग्राम. आई प्रेज फॉर इट. अदर देन 1971 बांग्लादेश वॉर, आई प्रेज Indira Gandhi ji for establishing research and analysis wing on 21st of September 1968. I praise P.V. Narasimha Rao for opening up the economy, and after that, the new era of India's economic potential came. I also praise Dr. Manmohan Singh for his erudite explanation on the floor of the house when he said in a couplet कि 100 जवाबों से अच्छी है मेरी ये खामोशी जिसने न जाने कितने सवालों की आबरू रख ली. I praise for him. And I also praise the far-sightedness of Rahul Gandhi ji when in 2019 election he apprehended his defeat in Amethi, and he was so far-sighted that he has chosen Wayanad for that, because I think उसके बाद जाते तो समुंदर आ जाता. तो मैं उनकी दूरदृष्टि की भी प्रशंसा करता हूं, और मनमोहन सिंह जी ने जिस ढंग से अपनी पार्टी की प्रॉब्लम्स का बचाव शेयर के द्वारा किया, उससे भी करता हूं. प्रीवियस तो जो ईमानदारी की बात है वो कहना चाहिए, बट आई एम अनएबल टू अंडरस्टैंड मोदी जी ने कुछ भी अच्छा नहीं किया. अगर 9.5 साल में, डिस्पाइट इंडिया बिकेम द 5th लार्जेस्ट इकोनॉमी, 4th बिगेस्ट स्टॉक एक्सचेंज, 3rd बिगेस्ट ऑटोमोबाइल मैन्युफैक्चर, 2nd बिगेस्ट मोबाइल हैंडसेट मैन्युफैक्चर, द बिगेस्ट infrastructure investment, and we have passed the Nari Shakti Mandan Adhiniyam. क्या बताएं, जिसके ऊपर साइठी दृष्टि दूसरी हो. मतलब एक संस्कृत में कहावत होती है, यस्य नास्ति स्वयं प्रज्ञा शास्त्रम तस्य करोति किम लोचनाभ्याम विहीनस्य दर्पणम किम कृषि. It means those who are not having sight or close their eyes, howsoever show you them mirror, they will not be able to see anything. In the same manner, if they are having their mental IQ closed, then howsoever good thing you tell them, they will not be able to understand.
Sanjay Jha, one compliment for the Prime Minister, 9.5 years, possible?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Narendra Modi has demonstrated to all of us the art of marketing when you have nothing to sell. So I mean that's a very, what I call is a very advanced form of what I call a self-actualization. You have nothing to sell, but you'll market it to the world. But a very serious point here, Navika. मैं सुधांशु जी को बताना चाहूंगा, एक दुश्मन फिल्म था राजेश खन्ना का, उसका में एक गाना था, बड़ा लोकप्रिय हुआ था, सच्चाई छुप नहीं सकती बनावट के उसूलों से, खुशबू आ नहीं सकती कागज के फूलों से. आपको मैं याद दिलाना चाहूंगा, कोविड के 2nd वेव में कितने लाखों लोगों की मृत्यु हुई. आज कोविड में मैं औपचारिक आंकड़ों को बता रहा हूं, 500,000 पीपल, मतलब 5 लाख से ज्यादा लोगों की मृत्यु हुई है. और भारत के प्रधानमंत्री कोविड के वैक्सीन सर्टिफिकेट पर अपना चेहरा देके मार्केटिंग कर रहे हैं. तो देखिए, लोग समझ चुके हैं ये खेल आपका.
संजय झा उस पिक्चर का एक और भी गाना था, आज शायद वो फिट होता अगर आप इस्तेमाल करते. दुश्मन जो दोस्तों से प्यारा है. आज जिस दिन 41 हमारे कर्मवीर बच गए, अगर आप दुश्मन का वो वाला भी गाना याद कर लेते तो मैं आपकी याददाश्त को और कम से कम आपके बड़े दिल को मैं दाद देती, पर मगर अफसोस कि ये हो ना सका. सुधांशु जी,
चलिए सुधांशु जी आप ही जवाब दे दीजिए अब.
संजय झा जी, आपने बहुत अच्छा कहा कि सच्चाई छुप नहीं सकती बनावट के उसूलों से, खुशबू आ नहीं सकती कभी कागज के फूलों से. अगर अपने फूल के लिए समझ लिया होता कि उससे खुशबू नहीं आ सकती, तो आज वो धूल का फूल बन के ना पड़ा होता मान्यवर. इसीलिए आपको समझने की जरूरत थी. और कोविड की 2nd वेव में एक और चीज याद दिला दूं, कोविड की 2nd वेव में मोविड आपके फूल ने कहा था. इससे ज्यादा डिजास्टर्स और इससे ज्यादा डिमीनिंग कोई सेंटेंस नहीं हो सकता. और आपके फूल और उनकी बहन दोनों ने बाकायदा ट्वीट किया था अप्रैल 2021 में कि हमने बच्चों का वैक्सीन विदेश भेज दिया, जबकि सर आप तो पढ़े लिखे, 2021 अप्रैल तक पूरी दुनिया में बच्चों का वैक्सीन नहीं बना था. इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं, ये फूल कागज के फूल से खुशबू नहीं आ सकती थी, पर क्या बताएं, आप उसको इतने साल से ढो रहे हैं कि वो फूल आपके लिए गुलाब के फूल की बजाय गोभी का फूल बनता चला जा रहा है. और आप लोग फूल होने के बाद भी फूल खुश होकर बैठे हुए हैं. तो इसके लिए मैं आपकी शिद्दत को दाद देता हूं.
लेकिन maybe that equation will change when the results come out. But let me get in Joseph Hoover. Sorry for coming to you late, and thank you for being on the Newshour for the first time. And Joseph, my question is, the truth is somewhere in between these extreme statements that are being made. Has the Prime Minister done nothing good in 9.5 years? Well, the opposition is not ready to even quote one example of anything good. And the tragedy is, on a day this country should have been celebrating the rescue of 41 of our brothers, our countrymen, where, rescue operation, gigantic rescue operation was mounted, 700 people worked on it. We're not celebrating it. We are not saluting their valor. The ones who were inside and the ones who were outside. We're not celebrating their valor. What are we talking about? Why is this a photo op for the Prime Minister? Because we're not worried about the rest. Our problem in the opposition is Prime Ministers should not have the camera TVs on them. Do you think that's a justified attack?
I mean, I was listening to all the panelists there. I've heard you also. From my perspective, I see our Prime Minister has done a great job. There's no doubt about it. But there are certain things he could have done better. That is my opinion and opinion of the people. And this rescue work adds up to those people who rescued these 41 people and the braveness of those who survived that. But looking beyond that, if the opposition is raising a red flag and they're making a noise about the PM being always in the photo op situation, let's take that things in a stride. Let's cop it. Let's say, okay, it's fair enough. People have to say something, they'll say something. Why does the government have to react so badly to that? Well, they've been talking about the Mr. Narendra Modi being photo op, sociologist, and all the stuff. Fair enough. But let the government also say, okay, criticism is welcome. Let's take that in a good spirit and move on. I mean, he's done a great job, but we would have expected more out of him. From my perspective, as a conservationist, as a journalist, where I see is that our entire government and the opposition has failed us. The people of India have been failed by both of them. In their rambling and their contest, it has really hit the local people and the general people. Look at what happened in Uttarkashi. The work should not have been done there at all. It's an ecologically sensitive, fragile area, first of all. The IIT experts, researchers from IIT, from the IISc, the geologists have said this is a fragile area, we need to watch out. Well, we want our country to be a superpower. We want all the great things to be good about our country. But what are we doing about it? I mean, where I come from, I always blame both the opposition and the government for this, because when the Forest Conservation Amendment Bill was passed, the government just ran through that. The opposition, in their worry about Manipur, they didn't even raise a question. Now, what happens after this is the question now. These 41 people survived. Hats off to
what
the
about
government.
the others? Well, but then life is always, Anand Ranganathan, life has always been about a balance between connectivity of people in far-flung areas and ecological concerns.
No, absolutely. And first of all, I want to congratulate you and everyone else for this wonderful, enchanting, affable discussion. Everyone has brought on great points. And as I say, mock every other ism except criticism. So the opposition, especially Mohammad Tariq Khan Saab, Tausif Ahmed, Joseph, Sanjay to an extent, are absolutely right. Every question is acceptable and should be accepted by the government and vice versa. Did BJP not criticize Mamata Banerjee when the overbridge collapsed in Kolkata? They did. So, for example, in the wake of the Morbi tragedy or right now out here, the disaster that happened, there are legitimate questions that need to be asked. And as far as Sudhanshuji, my elder brother is concerned, when he was actually outraging at Mr. Tariq Khan, talking about Digvijay Singh and the book launch that said 2611 was a RSS conspiracy. I also want to gently remind him that one other person who was in that book launch that said 2611 was an RSS conspiracy is right now in BJP. Should we not criticize that? What does he have to say about that?
Respond, Sudhanshuji. 30 seconds. I'm running out of time.
Actually, I want to say regarding that book he was saying, it was said by a person of the ruling government. And moreover, Ranganathan ji, sir, you remember, in Ishrat Jahan case, it was a very peculiar case in the entire world history when the two agencies of the same government were taking a starkly opposite position. CBI was initially saying that she was a terrorist, then they changed their stand that she is not a terrorist, and IB was saying she is a terrorist, and still they said that she is a terrorist. So I have highlighted the contradiction. अच्छा, जो जहां की बात थी तो आपने बिल्कुल सही कहा साहब, जब वहां थे तो उन्होंने बोला होगा, हमारे यहाँ रह के किसी ने कोई बोला हो तो बताइए। इसलिए मैं कह रहा हूं जहां पे आदमी मैन इज नोन बाय द कंपनी,
इसीलिए सब ये भी कहा करते हैं कि आप यहाँ जब आते हैं तो पाप भूल जाते हैं क्योंकि वॉशिंग मशीन का ब्रांड ही ऐसा है। लेकिन कमिंग बैक, आई एम नॉट डाइग्रेसिंग फ्रॉम द इशू ऑफ ट्रेजेडीज, एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू ट्रेजेडीज, what comes to mind? Bhopal gas tragedy? What happened then? What happened to Warren Anderson? And today? Yes, we're saying this at a time when all 41 of our Karamveers were saved. Had the result been different, what would have happened? Would they have said, Vijay ko nikal liya, Ahmed ko chhod diya? Would they have given it a communal color then? Would they have, found new ways to criticize? My question is, why do politicians not get a sense of perspective? When things are good, we should only be doing one thing, which is thank the superpowers and thank the braveries of all the hard work that has gone behind it and all the planning and strategizing. Why, on such occasions, do we find a small little stick to beat everyone? Why do we not be large-hearted enough to celebrate, and in that celebration also compliment the government? After all, the government also has a role to play in coordination, in getting everything together. Why just leave them out? Does it not show that Mohabbat Ki Dukaan is only a slogan, not a reality? That's the question people are asking. We leave it at that. Thank you very much to my panelists joining me on debate number 1.